I failed. So you failed, Dean. You and a thing that I respect about you massively is
Good luck.
you always set your expectations and your of yourself and your goals high. You have these big aspirations, and you are not shy about letting people know about what they are. I think it's absolutely brilliant. So one that sticks in my mind, obviously, recently we'll talk about like the thing where you're aiming to win Brits 105s and you came
Yeah.
third. So we'll talk about the perceptions of failure in that and how you bounce back from that. But I think thing that stuck in my mind was when you were peaking for a deadlift. Was it you were going for 400? Was it?
Yeah.
And then you went for your. Did you strap fail on what I can't remember what weight it was, but
So that was no, so that was actually back when I was under 90s. So I went for the under 90 record, which was 365, I think it was at the time.
yeah,
And yeah, to be fair, my strap failed, my strap snapped on that. I was using figure sixes and it snapped. And to be honest, man, it's one of the things you know what it's like. Like on the day, it fucking I literally locked it out and I was probably a fucking half an inch off locking it out. Like, and mate, if the strap hadn't have snapped, I would have had it. So then I went again and completely fucking like failed it. But like
So
what it's like, mate.
tell us about the mindset then. Forget the nitty gritty of like what happened. Like you responding to that. You like say the week after that. Obviously, you must have felt low and some emotions and stuff. Like how did you kind of reset yourself, taking yourself from like a big failure that you put so much into, and you came so close to it. You even feel like you were in touching distance of achieving that big goal.
Mm,
Like yeah, describe how you got, because to be honest, like something like that you see it all the time where that could break somebody's career. That could be
yeah,
enough for somebody to go over and take up another sport or think why
yeah. I think the thing is for me is that we all get fucking so tied into what we're doing, and when you take a step back and walk into Tesco's,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Walk around the fucking supermarket, nobody cares.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the big thing for me that really keeps me moving forward because we're obsessed with it because of the feeling it gives us. But walk down the street next to fucking Mary and Tony and all these people, they don't give a toss, man. And that for me is the thing that keeps you moving forward. I know it sounds like a crazy random story, but just put those two together. Like someone that doesn't care and someone that cares immensely will actually close the gap between and just be happy that we're doing the shit we're doing.
yeah. So to reiterate that point, I think you've hit this is the thing that you've hit the nail on the head. It's about how you felt and that buzz. That's
Yeah.
that's what we're chasing. And like I completely agree with that. Like win, lose, or draw. That's my philosophy. Win, lose, or draw. Nobody gives a fuck.
No.
Like nobody cares. You got use the example of going into Tesco or whatever. Like so basically, I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. Is you see it kind of at lower level with people getting into the sport at lower level. They care too much about looking bad and
Yeah.
putting
Yeah.
themselves getting stuck in there and failing. Or what if so and so is doing this and I can only do whatever. And like you as a coach, me as a coach, we've got to drill it into people that you know what it's okay. It's all about like, are you getting better yourself? And then you see it at the higher end of the sport where people are kind of winning, like say they might win the first title, they might win a regional title, national title, they set a record, and then they turn around and they kind of maybe expect all this kind of extrinsic, like all these people patting them on the back,
Yeah.
which
But
might
it's all
last.
because of what you think, though, isn't it, mate?
Exactly.
It's like having a spot on your fucking head that really hurts, and you're thinking, "Fuck, everyone's looking at this spot." Nobody's looking at the spot, mate. You're thinking about the spot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
So
And
yeah, yeah,
it's,
100%.
but for me, it's a little bit like when I went to Worlds 2019. The year
Yeah,
before that is when I started strongman. I did a competition, did okay, and then
yeah,
thought I'm going to do world's strongest man. now that sounds fucking ridiculous, but I'm an extreme person, right? And I
Yeah,
love to be extreme, and I think it's important to be extreme. And because I was so extreme, I said I was going to Worlds. I did it. I then
yeah,
came like top 10. I came ninth. You
yeah,
know, was I happy at the time? Was a fuck because you think of all the shit things that went wrong and that you could have done better.
yeah.
However, I came home from America telling people I came ninth, and they're like, fucking, that is amazing. It's in the world. And I was like, yeah, it's all right, because I could have come top five. But
Yeah.
again, that's all because of what we do, right? Because you think of it yourself. So the bigger picture is the fact that it's fucking great. Regardless of where you want to place it, you're
Yeah,
doing awesome. You know,
yeah, yeah, completely,
it's like me
completely agree.
recently at Brits. Like, I'll be honest, I had a fucking lot of pressure on my back. I'm sure like you've seen it as well, but most people were saying I'm coming top 3 minimum, but if not first. And that, mate, I love that. I love that people have that that thought of me and everything. But
Yeah,
at the same time, it put a lot of pressure on me. And you know, to come away top 3 was obviously amazing, but I also know I'm perfectly capable of coming first.
yeah.
But it's the game, isn't it, man? Like so much can go right and wrong on the day. If anyone that didn't see, my farmers would probably fucking my lad could have done better than me. So
Yeah, but I suppose like beyond the intricacies of what could have gone better or could have gone worse or whatever, like what like a thing that I want to know a bit more about is like how you set your mindset to react from those things. You know, when you when the dust is settled and you're like say even like a week after Brits and you're thinking, oh, this time last week, that's when I came third, could have whatever. Like what's going through your head there in terms of resetting? Obviously, you've got another like a thing that I find helpful is regardless of win, lose or draw, is resetting the goals. Like for me, I'm very like kind of goal orientated. So a thing where personally I go wrong is like sometimes like I have the big long term goal, and if I get a short term goal out of the way, I think that oh, well, it'll be nice to have a little bit of a few months where I don't have a short term goal. But for me, that doesn't really work. I need to get something back in there straight away. So, for instance, you've got another big comp coming up, haven't you, in France?
yeah,
Like, is that a strategy that you specifically use yourself, or is that just how it's fallen? Like, how do
well,
how do you reset your goals?
yeah. If I'm honest, it's actually how it's fallen. So
Yeah,
this year, I'm sure you know this stuff anyway, but it's the first year in 105s officially. So I've gone through the ranks of Midlands, England's, Brits, and onwards. And yeah, so it was just how it felt, to be honest. They were nicely spaced out at the start of the year, and now they're pretty much back to back. And I guess like my method would be to set a goal, correct? Because I'm the same. Like if you've not got something in front of you, as much as I love the theory of the building phase and the foundational stuff, I also love to keep myself on track and actually have something to look at. So yeah, I have to have things in front of me.
cool. And in terms of like short, medium, long term, and I know it's like textbook cliche or whatever, but do you have something that you kind of stick to within the structure in terms of short, medium, and long term goals, or you
Yeah,
just
definitely, man. Like I don't know if you can see on my wall here, but I've got all my whole year planned out there.
right, brilliant.
And it's something that I do with my athletes as well. When I first like sign them up, I get them all tuned because, mate, like like if you haven't got a fucking goal that's scary enough, you'll give up, right? When shit gets hard and when things start to rattle you, if you haven't got that burning desire to take the next thing up, you're gonna break, right? We're in an oven. How high can you get that oven?
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And that's
Yeah,
why I think
how
it's so
high can you
powerful.
keep the oven whilst and still stay in it?
That's it. And that's it. That's it. It's exactly that. In the army, I once did the like take your respirator off when there's gas like attack, and you have to do that as part of your training. I won that because I was just stubborn and I stayed there for as long as I could. Do you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? And that's
yeah,
what I
yeah,
always remember. It's that type of thing, isn't it? Like how long can you stay there before you break?
yeah.
You
So
know?
yeah. So do you think like the army is something that's led into this mindset of like being able to respond to failure and reset your goals and move on? Is that
Uh,
something that you?
I'd say it has played a massive part. Yeah. If I'm like without going into huge depth of it, and I'm happy to do it on another one, but like for me, I came out the army as a failure, and
Right.
it's something I struggled to tell the world the truth for quite some time. In a in a small nutshell, rather than leaving you hanging, I basically left the army because I was injured. I broke my hip. But the true story behind it is I was in a really bad place mentally, started taking drugs, and then I got kicked out the army for taking drugs. Like
Well,
now to tell you that now, I'm pretty like open and honest about it, but I kept that from people for such a long time because I was ashamed of it.
right. Okay.
Like,
So fantastic. So let's actually just build a little bit more on this. So forget the athlete thing, right? Your
mm,
army is your career, yeah,
mm,
and then you've failed. You've done like this massive thing that would, let's be honest, like it would end a lot of people, that wouldn't it? Like
yeah,
it, like, and what you've done in terms of, um, so career, like obviously you built a successful gym, a successful coaching business. I wouldn't like to hazard a guess at how many people you have coached and had a positive effect on within this small niche of strongman in the last however many years. So,
mm,
so whether you're the kind of person that sits back every so often and reflects and think, you know what, I'm doing pretty good. I don't think you are. I think you seem
no,
to be someone who's always striving for something to the point where you kind of blinkered about this kind of progress and progress. I'm rushing everywhere, like like we were saying before, like about we're busy, blah 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 blah. That sometimes you need to reflect and think, yeah, you know what, I'm smashing it. I'm actually helping a lot of people, and forget finances, forget money, bottom line or whatever. Like you're actually helping a shit ton of people, and I think that is very very cool. So to go
yeah,
from that career failure that's been hard for you to talk about to actually move to pick yourself up, move on, be relentless, whilst also pursuing your career as an athlete, I think that is cool as fuck.
yeah. No,
So
I appreciate that, and
go
I
fair
think it's
play.
to be fair, I think it's one of those things where, like, obviously, mate, we're all different people. We all have different things that trigger us, fire us up, and we all have that temperature gauge. Again, like we're all at a different temperature, aren't we, of what we can handle and stuff. But the thing is, for me, I just love to be relentless on whatever I do, and
Yeah,
like just not fucking give up. Like I don't care what anyone wants to say. Like what disability you have, what fucking struggle you have, what mental illness you have, whatever it is, right? There's fucking ways around everything. And
yeah.
and there really is. Like
Well,
you just
that's a
got to
thing
be relentless.
where I can definitely where I can relate to you, and that's why I wanted to have a chat like this. The same with the coaching as an athlete or whatever. Like it's great. Like if you can choose to be relentless, can't you? I find like I think
Yeah.
that it's not something that's like necessarily, in my opinion, that's something that's necessarily innate. Like I didn't used to be look like this when I was younger. People would say I was lazy or whatever. But like once you find your thing, that for me, I found like I'm not necessarily that as talented as other people. So the only way that I can get better than other people is actually, or have more success, is just by being relentless and just by trying hard and just think, oh well, if I do this, if he does that 900 times, if I do it 950 times, I might get better than it.
Yeah.
It's going to take me a while. But I'm not bothered. I'm just gonna keep doing it.
Yeah. But that's a skill though, man, because nobody wants to work harder than the person next to them. Like it's
Yeah,
not a natural thing. However, when you realize that working harder than the person next to you wins, you have a fucking power. Like it's as simple as that. Like because you can't outwork someone that works harder than you. It's just like it's impossible, right?
yeah,
So if you have that, it's like switching direction a little bit here, but using the same sort of aspect. It's a little bit like in strongman. You've got some strongmen that are just born to be fucking world strongest man, right? Tom Stoltman, we can't take that away from him. He is built and fucking designed to win world strongest man, right? You've
yeah,
then got people like, and not just because he's a good friend of mine, but people like Adam Bishop, who wasn't built to be it, but he fucking works beyond, to get to there.
Yeah.
And both respectively. I mean, all right, Adam's not won worlds yet, but respectively, they're both at the top of their game for different reasons. You know, and again, you could flipping back to what we're talking about. That's the same as life, right? You have some people that are naturally skilled and academic, and you have some people that work the fucking bollocks off. Like, mate, I left school getting kicked out of school, like with no grades. You know, I went into the army and I passed all the selection physically, but I actually still had no grades and I had to resit my exams. And just to throw a little funny story in for you, I still didn't pass my exams. I paid someone to fucking take my exam in the army because I literally was like just shit at academic stuff and I couldn't pass the exam. It's ridiculous when I think back, but I was that, like, again, relentless. I was like, I'm getting in the army, I'm gonna do it. And because everyone shaves their head on day one, I paid a lad 50 quid to just go in with my army ID and just sit down and do my exam. So, but
Brilliant.
you know, again, it's that attitude to me that's like just fucking, I will get there regardless. And I think it's something that's it's installed into me as a young person, and it's something I've always took with me.
Brilliant, Dean.